Stephen Miller, Donald Trump's White House Deputy Chief of Staff, and of course his top advisor on all horrible things, told Fox News host Bill Hemmer on Monday that to retrieve the wrongfully deported man, Kilmar Abrego Garcia, from the El Salvadoran prison, which they sent him to recover him, Stephen Miller says, would be tantamount to kidnapping because at this point he is in the custody of the El Salvadoran government. So we can't just take him. He belongs to them now, they say. This, of course, came after the U.S. Supreme Court said, you have to get him back. The lower court said you have to get him back. You have to do whatever you have to do to go get him. And when Bill Hemmer pointed that out to Stephen Miller got pissed. Here's how that exchange went down. Hemmer asks, the Supreme Court says you have to facilitate that, meaning you have to get the guy. And Stephen Miller responded saying this very long thing. So I want to correct, I hate to do it, Bill, but I got to correct you on every single thing that you said because it was all wrong. A district court judge said unconscionably that the president and his administration have to go into El Salvador and extradite one of their citizens, an El Salvadorian citizen, so that would be kidnapping. That we have to kidnap an El Salvadorian citizen against the will of his government and fly him back to America, which would be an unimaginable act and an invasion of El Salvador's sovereignty. So this has been portrayed wrong for 72 hours in the media. They said the most a court could ever compel you to do would be to facilitate return, which would basically mean if El Salvador voluntarily sends him back, we wouldn't block him at the airport. We would put him back into ICE detention, and then he would be deported either back to El Salvador or somewhere else. The Supreme Court said that this is the most important, the most the government can be expected to do, so we won the case handily. The misreporting on this has been atrocious. Holy hell. That is so much misinformation packed into one angry diatribe. It's almost impossible to unpack. Like he's living in a fantasy world. We won the case, he says. No, you literally didn't. Everything you're saying, Stephen, is in fact wrong. That is an American resident that you wrongfully sent out of the country. Oh, well, we can't, it's kidnapping. Donald Trump can pick up the phone right now and make a call. Actually, he doesn't even need to because the president of El Salvador was at the White House on fucking Monday. He could have leaned over and said, hey man, can you send that dude back? Thanks, appreciate it. That's it. That's all it would have taken. Donald Trump has all the power because we're the ones with the contract with El Salvador. All he has to do is say, listen, you don't give the guy back, we're canceling the contract. You lose millions of dollars. Which should, by the way, happen. We shouldn't be doing what we're doing. But Trump has literally 100% of the power. He could just tell President Bukele, send the guy back, and he would send him back without hesitation. He's refusing to do that in spite of the Supreme Court's order, which means there is no more separation of power. There are no more checks and balances. We have a rogue, out of control executive branch that genuinely believes they are above the law, ironically, because the Supreme Court last summer told the president, you can be above the law. So the Supreme Court kneecapped themselves with that immunity ruling last summer, and now Trump knows I can defy you because it's an official act, and you can't do anything about it. That's what's going on here. The Supreme Court decided to give Trump that power, even though he wasn't president at the time, and now he's abusing that self-same power. And the Supreme Court can do literally nothing about it. And the administration can send out little goblins like Stephen Miller to go and lie about what the court actually said to make the public not think that they are defying the court order. Over the weekend, Trump's lawyers at the DOJ actually filed a brief with the lower court arguing that they don't have to comply with the court's order at all. They said, quote, Plaintiffs' additional relief runs headlong through this constitutional limit. They ask this court to order defendants to make demands of the El Salvadoran government, dispatch personnel onto the soil of an independent sovereign nation, and send an aircraft into the airspace of a sovereign foreign nation to extract a citizen of that nation from its custody. All of those requested orders involve interactions with a foreign sovereign and potential violations of that sovereignty. But as explained, a federal court cannot compel the executive branch to engage in any mandated act of diplomacy or incursion upon the sovereignty of another nation. My God, we're just respecting their borders. We're respecting their privacy and their sovereignty, right? We don't want to make enemies. You could do this right now. This man could have already been home a long time ago. You're choosing to defy the court's order for what purpose? To show them that they can't do this? So that the next time you deport somebody wrongfully, they can't stop you? Because I think that's what this is. Again, it would take nothing to just get this man back. It would take a phone call that would last maybe 20 seconds. They're choosing to not do it to show that we have the power. We can send anybody we want down to this torture prison in El Salvador, and nobody can stop us. And that, of course, tells me they're planning to send more innocent people down there, perhaps even American citizens. They've talked about it. They have suggested it. They have talked about it with El Salvador. That is the plan. And that's why this one innocent man is not allowed to come back, because they want to set the precedent that once we send you there, you're gone forever. One of today's video sponsors is Magic Spoon. As a kid, I loved eating cereal. But as an adult, I don't want all that sugar, and let's be honest, most cereals don't give me the protein that my body needs. Magic Spoon makes high-protein, zero-sugar cereal and treats reinvented from your childhood to bring you the nostalgia without the guilt. Every serving of Magic Spoon has crazy macros: 13 grams of protein, 0 grams of sugar, and 4 grams of net carbs. They also come in so many nostalgic flavors like fruity, cocoa, cinnamon roll, peanut butter, birthday cake, chocolate chip cookie, and many more. And if you're on the go and don't have time to sit down for a bowl of cereal, Magic Spoon has you covered. They also turned their super popular cereal into high-protein treats that are light, crispy, and taste just like those classic crunchy cereal bars. Magic Spoon's treats are so delicious and have already become my favorite go-to snack. Magic Spoon's high-protein treats are crispy, crunchy, airy, and an easy way to get 12 grams of protein on the go. They come in mouth-watering flavors like marshmallow, chocolate peanut butter, and dark chocolate. Now, I personally love these treats as both on-the-go snacks and kind of, my after-dinner go-to snack. And they're a great alternative to those sugary comfort snacks that I'm used to reaching for right before bedtime. And both their cereals and treats are great for people who are carb conscious. And right now, Magic Spoon has a great deal for our viewers. Get $5 off your next order at magicspoon.com/ROF. Or you can look for Magic Spoon on Amazon or in your nearest grocery store. But if you want our deal, go to magicspoon.com/ROF for $5 off.